Also, good evening, folks. Let's kick off this evening. Two special occasions today, right? One, of course, everyone knows Valentine's Day, and the other is Ratha Saptami. It's celebrated in the south. I don't know about north, but at least in the south, Ratha Saptami is a big event. So both of them today. We have a special guest here, Mr. Victor Albuquerque, who is from the first batch, right? Yeah, first batch of KREC. So Mr. Maman Daniels will introduce and say a few words.
Uh, I like to say a few introductory statements about our life in KREC. We were the first batch, and there were only about 200, about 60 students in each class. And one of my batchmates is here. He is based in Goa. So after graduation, we all went to different countries and different parts of India. And Victor came back to Goa, and he started in PWD and then started his own business. And most of us graduating from KREC, they have been really successful, very enterprising people, and whatever they took up, they have excelled. And that is demonstrated everywhere, including USA. Most of the guys from KREC have settled down there in a very, very successful manner. And same way, the people who continued in India also were successful in their own way. And I want to introduce Victor, who was a very active young fellow at that time. I knew that he is going to be a successful man. So I want to introduce Victor, and he will talk about what he did and what he has accomplished in Goa. Come on, Victor.
I'm extremely happy to be here amongst all of you, colleagues, juniors of KREC, and extremely happy to know, I always knew that all our KREC boys in and out of India have been doing extremely well. Because it was known at that time also that students who were passed out from KREC were much more than average in intelligence and work. And they have gone up. And there are a lot of examples, not only in America and elsewhere, but also in India. Our boys have done very well. And it's a pleasure to meet some of our colleagues and juniors of KREC. Probably I was the first student to keep my foot in KREC. And there was another Kashmiri boy,
Raina.
Avatar Krishna Raina, if you remember. And at that time it was the Portuguese time. It was difficult for us to come to Goa and go back. He had come from Kashmir. And so we had our interview in Bangalore for the selection. And we were selected, and Avatar Krishna Raina could not go back to Kashmir. So we stayed in Bangalore. I also did not come back to Goa. So we straight came to Suratkal. Hostels were not ready. So we were given some accommodation in the village, Suratkal village, a big house. And we spent some 3-4 days. In the meantime, the workers were doing up the sheds. In each of the rooms in the shed, we had 16 people, sort of a dormitory accommodation. I don't know whether the sheds are still there. I don't know. They are not there. There were sheds literally near to the overhead tank. Near the overhead tank. So we were 16 students in each of these rooms in the barracks. They were like military barracks. And there was no proper water supply, no proper toilets. For water, we used to go down there to some local families and we used to have our bath and all. This was the story just when we joined the college. There was nothing. The main workshop building, I think still exists, am I right?
Yes.
The main workshop building. It housed the lecture rooms, the principal's office, the workshop, and the lecture halls. Because on the first year we had about 50 students in each batch.
60.
Civil, mechanical, and electrical, 150 students, I still remember. So it was, now if you reminisce, it was fantastic. It made you tough, really, to be there. And we had a mess for two types of food. One was Bombay style and one was South Indian style. And we had tough time until water came. Water came must after 2-3 months. We used to go to nearby wells. I don't know whether you were a hostelite also.
We went to that stream.
At that time it was only sheds and we had the very tough time. We had no proper water, no proper toilets. But then I take into consideration that that's probably helped us in the initial batches to be hardy. The next year, the second year, probably we shifted to the staff quarters. You remember?
Yeah.
Staff quarters.
Yeah.
D-type quarters, E-type quarters.
On the hill on the other side.
Situation had improved by then. And in the third year, then we shifted to the first hostel. Fourth year, the second and fifth year, the third hostel. And now I think there must be 5 hostels.
More than that, one more building is coming.
Yeah. But the good part of it was, initial years, we had, under the Colombo plan, all our professors were Canadians. You remember also. All the professors were Canadians, both in civil, mechanical and electrical. And they were very good. They had a different culture altogether. A lot of our boys managed to go to Canada. In fact, I had got a scholarship to go to University of Waterloo. Is that
That's correct.
am I right? No, University of Waterloo to do public health engineering. But somehow because of family problems, I had to stay back and I got. And life was really good there at that time. People who are now in Sultan, they will not imagine what the first batches have gone through. But it's great. It was great. It was good. Like one of those boarding houses, and it goes a long way to. We had good professors at that time, good students. Most of the students, 50% of the students were from Karnataka. And out of this 50%, 75% must have been from South Canada. Good students. And one of the good students which I still know and has done well for him is chairman of ICICI Bank. I know how many of you.
KV Kamath.
He has done very well. Brilliant he was. He was junior to us.
KV Kamath.
KV Kamath. He did brilliantly well. Like that, there are many stories of boys from KREC who have done extremely well. And the hard life that we had in the first years, I presume it was good for me because I was able to sustain hard work when I went into my business profession. After graduation, probably, government job at that time was not as it is today. Today it's totally different, a government job. Person joins government job to make money. It's total corruption today. But I left for different reasons, but it didn't give me any excitement. It was not an exciting job. So way back in 1969-70, I started my career with 5,000 rupees. I'm just telling this because with just 5,000 rupees, building small compound walls, some bungalows, houses. But we had a challenge. And the challenge was that because I came from a humble background, my father was a government servant, hardly. So I said, we must come up. if you have that this to come up. And I was lucky that I had nothing with me. That was, if you have got, my children, they don't realize the importance of being poor. That's
the case with most of us, I guess.
So we started with that and I proceeded with doing some big buildings. And after some time I migrated to real estate. But before I had a stint, before joining, after PWD I had a stint to work with a consulting engineer where I did the concrete structures. But not like you do now with the computers. So now we were doing at that time the real calculations. My Hardy cross method and all that, do drawings with hand. Went into real estate at a time when Go was just coming up. Probably were the pioneers in professional construction. Before that, there were small people who were not engineers who were doing the construction works. Went on like that, did a lot of this, and then migrated to hospitality, hotels. At the same time, in the boom time in the Gulf, we had a joint venture in Bahrain, that is in the Gulf, where we did a lot of construction work. About 7 years, I used to travel every month for 7 days, stay in Bahrain. We came there when we saw that Goa was booming. We built a small hotel, 2-star or something. And that went on like that. Tried to gain knowledge, because whether you are going to be an engineer or whether you are going to be a hotelier or whether you are going to be in, unless you have deep knowledge of that subject, one cannot succeed. It is only by getting deep into the knowledge that you can succeed. And I was fortunate enough that after having built 1 or 2 5-star hotels, I had the privilege of working with one of the well-known architect, Charles Correa. I worked with him, he was our architect. And I learned from him a lot of things which otherwise would have not known. That man would not accept anything which is second class. If you are a carpenter, you have to be a first-class carpenter. He says, don't talk to a pedestrian. If you are a good painter, you have to be very good, otherwise you will not. And he used to get extremely angry and with his people on the site or his junior architects and all that. But I saw that he was a perfectionist. He died recently, very recently he died. You must have heard of Charles Correa.
Yeah.
He died recently. He was a genius. In fact, he was at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, he was a visiting professor. He got a gold medal from that. He had a permanent chair in Massachusetts. So I learned a lot from him in my bits of construction and in hotels also. And I learned that unless you are in depth, involved, and learn whatever you are doing, is very difficult to. Because only first-class people or people who are good will survive. Thereafter, we saw that there are a lot of common items between hospitality and healthcare. So I did a lot of study, visited most of the hospitals worldwide, India, and set up the first Goa's super specialty hospital, a 150-bedded hospital. And either there was nothing in Goa with the exception of some nursing homes, which are most unprofessional. So we started this under a franchise. We don't have anything managed by others. We manage ourselves. But I did a lot of study. And engineering helped us. Because finally engineers are more scientific, are more precise. That I even learned before starting. Costing of a bypass surgery, of an angioplasty. Everything is similar, whether you are doing costing of a building, you are doing costing of something, or you are doing costing of a bypass surgery, or any other surgery. So went very deep into the subject, and with some advice, no advice from Apollo. Apollo was just a franchise. We set up this 150-bedded super specialty hospital where we do everything. This is way back some 12, 13 years back. So telling you thing is not only for you but even your children. I tell my children also, you should not get things just ready-made. Unfortunately, that does not happen. They take it sometimes for granted. You must tell your children, work hard, get into the root of the, and we engineers have the capacity for that. Am I right? Mm-hmm. The engineers have got capacity for that, to go deep into the subject. Teach them that you have to study from in-depth. So that was this, and we are successful in setting up this 150-bedded super specialty hospital. Having been successful, considerably successful, take into consideration that Goa is very small. We said, why not go? Because we wanted to catch the tourism. We are one of the major players in Goa in the tourism industry. So I initiated what is known as the medical tourism, which we do in our hospital also. People do come for treatments. But I have found that Ayurveda naturopathy also is a great dish for medical tourism. A lot of people put the negative thing, no, Ayurveda and this is Kerala. Why should it be Kerala? Why can't it be Goa also? So we set up a center known as Devaya, almost 4 or 5 star center, which caters to basically all the Europeans come. For all treatments, mostly are women. Problems like paralysis, diabetes, tensions, and all sorts of back pains, especially for. And we have people from Germany, Italy, Switzerland coming there, staying from 7 to 35 days under a very regimental program. A regimental program, what I mean, there's no alcohol, no non-vegetarian food, no tobacco, no sugar, no coffee. You get up in the morning, have Surya Namaskar, and then you have your yoga, your breakfast, and then you have this with the doctor, and then have your therapies. It has been extremely successful. And these Europeans, when they come, they really mean, they go by your program. If 7 o'clock is Surya Namaskar, they are there already. Whereas our people, they are not so disciplined. They will come at 7:30, 8 o'clock, or they will just skip the program. So we have been delivering these programs of Ayurveda and naturopathy. And for the last 7, 8 years rather, we have been very happy. Forget about what is the business profitability. No? Business, it's some take it only for profit. Business profit. But there is something more than profit. There's something, an achievement. There's something, you get the pleasure in having done something. It's like a farmer who sows a seed and has the pleasure to see his plant or tree grow. That's also another thing that you have to take into consideration also. The happiness that you get in seeing this. Having seen that these things are forgetting about the money, because we are not going to take this money anywhere. We have now envisaged that this already has come up to build a pure cancer center. I don't know how many of you are in the, and there are some important equipment which is very, very expensive. We are having a joint venture. And we're putting up what is known as the linear accelerators in the PET cities, not a city, PET cities. It's not that we are trying to get people from abroad to make it viable. So this is one of the things that in healthcare we are trying to promote medical tourism. And my experience has been, if you do something very sincerely, honestly, you are bound to get success. Of course, success just doesn't come like that. You have to do hard work. By the way, I am a pure workaholic, absolute workaholic. And in my days of I'm a pure vegetarian, born in an absolute non-vegetarian home. I don't touch alcohol also. So these things are things that help one to. And at 74 now, you must be also more or less the same?
I'm 72.
I'm 74. Because I did my inter-science, you came directly to this. From your PUC, am I right?
Yeah,
I did my inter-science in Bombay and then came to the engineering college.
Right, I remember.
At 74, I work 8-10 hours a day. See, that helps you. I'm just giving the piece of advice, not that much. To be a vegetarian helps. To be a non-alcoholic, otherwise what happens? In our business, we have a lot of parties, you have to go here and there. And in the bargain, you have to drink or pretend to drink, and that's not a very good thing. Next day, you are off. So best is to avoid the drinking and smoking and non-vegetarian food. Let us